Jagaradev, Jam Masters. Generally, if something's wrong, uncomfortable, destructive in your life, you fix it. It's simple. You don't leave things that are causing destruction, causing issues, problems in your life, or you will have nothing but problems. It's rather straightforward. Some of us do pretty well outside with that. Some of us do pretty well with our bodies. There's certainly food you can eat that make you sick. Things you can drink that may taste good or feel good for a moment, and then you crash. They make you sick. If you want to be happy in your life for more than a moment, you have to deal with that stuff. You can't keep doing destructive things. That's what happens with drugs. People get high on a drug and they say it's nice. Yeah, it's nice. It's good. But wait till you see what happens. It's destructive. Period. All drugs are destructive. Even prescription drugs are destructive. We're seeing that more and more. So there are times where you have to take them. But even when you take antibiotics, you do probiotics, we learn different things. So at a minimum, what you try to do is not do destructive things. You try to at least have your act together enough to where if you know something's destructive, you know something's not working, you know something is taking away your joy and your happiness, you just don't do it. Do we need to talk about that? What does it mean to just not do it? I swear you can make books about it if you want, but it means to just not do it. That's what it means. If you're smoking or drinking and it's causing problems in your life, which of course eventually they do, and you see it, and it's your health, it's your family, it's your job, and you get a moment of clarity, you decide, I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to stop drinking. I swear to you, that should be the end of it. That should be the end of it. If you decide yourself, not because somebody told you, but if you've seen it, and you have decided for yourself that this is not benefiting my life, it is momentarily ceasing me from feeling anxiety, so you smoke, or nervousness, whatever it is, or drink because you have problems, it momentarily makes it a little bit better. But the overall effect that it's having, if you see it, and over time inevitably it will, it is destructive. It is not giving you a good life. It is taking away your life. The moment you see that, you have the right, I'll be the obligation, to say, I want to be happy. I want to have a beautiful life. I want to enjoy my life. This, over time, is taking that away. This is not doing that. So therefore, I'm going to stop doing that. And I'm telling you, it's enough to get that clarity. But once you get that clarity, I don't understand, and I don't want to understand why people can't just do it. I could sit here and listen and feel sorry for you, but I won't do either of those. To me, you just stop doing it. What does that mean? It means in order to smoke, you must pick up a cigarette and put it in your mouth. Don't. There. That's all. In order to drink, you must put liquor into a glass, pick it up, and swallow it. Don't do it. Well, what's so hard? I'm not telling you to do something. You're already doing it. I'm telling you just don't do it. It should be the easiest thing in the world. There should be absolutely nothing to it. Do you understand that? They baby you. You baby yourself. It's one thing if I sit there and say, make her do something. How can I make her do something? That's hard, right? I'm not even going to make you do something. Just stop doing something. If you have the ability to do it, you have the ability to not do it. You're the one who's doing it. You are asserting the will to go get a cigarette, pull it out, and put it in your mouth. Just don't assert that will. And I guarantee you a cigarette will not end up in your mouth. It requires you to do it. So why would it not be that easy? Because you formulate habits. Habits are flows of energy. They're used to flowing that way. It is just like if there's a hill and it rains, water starts to flow down the path of least resistance. Once it flows down that windy road, that windy path that it takes, eroding the softest earth that has the most angle, and it carves something, the next time it rains, I guarantee you more water will flow down that path. And the next time it rains, even more will. And eventually, that's where all the water's going. That is what's going to happen. It carves a pathway. And that pathway becomes the path of least resistance. That is exactly what is happening inside of you. Your habit patterns, your patterns of behavior. You know me, I'm going to talk about the mind and emotions. But right now, let's talk about your physical body and your interaction with the outside world, because that's very easy to see and understand. So what happens is you have carved pathways. Neural pathways? Maybe. That's what modern science likes to call them, all right? Yoga talks about nadis, about pathways. Your energy system has carved pathways because you have behaved that way numerous times. Therefore, the energy flows that way naturally. It's a habit. There's actually call it a habit, don't we? Drinking is a habit, smoking is a habit, getting angry is a habit. These are habits. That's what a habit is. A habit is a pathway that if you're not paying attention and doing something to change it, the energy is going to flow that way. And if the energy flows that way, the next thing you know, there's going to be a cigarette in your mouth. You don't know how it got there. Just somehow automatically it knew how to. I told you, try programming a robot to open up a pack of cigarettes, pull out one of the 20 cigarettes, and make it into his mouth. That's a lot of programming. I've programmed before. You wait till you see how it puts it in his ear or it breaks it every time. You have to do something exactly right to succeed at getting that thing. But you have carved the pathway, so you know how to do it. You don't have to think about it. It happens automatically. That is called a habit. It goes habit. If you wish to stop doing that, the reason that it's difficult, not because it's difficult to not do it, it's not difficult to not do it. It's easy to not do it. You don't have to assert the energy. You have to waste the energy to do it. You understand that? It should be easy. The problem is the energy naturally flows that way. So that if you don't do it, are you ready? It is going to be uncomfortable. If I want to change the way the water is flowing down that hill after it carved itself, I need a shovel. If I let it go long enough, I need a steam shovel, right? I need to get out there and break my back to dig another hole, another channel, and divert the water that way. Otherwise, it's going to go right the way it always did. It is exactly the same inside of you. I want you to see these neural pathways or these energy pathways as those ditches that the water has carved. Now, if you want it to flow some other way, because you decided, not because somebody told you, but you decided, I want to have a nice life. This is ruining my life. This is making me sick. This is causing problems, etc. I firmly believe that the only way you're changing anything is when you decide that you want to change it. I'm not interested in other people influencing you. I'm not interested in peer pressure, any of that kind of stuff. Ultimately, you're in there. Hi, you want to have a nice life? Right? You think smoking is going to give it to you? Well, open your eyes. You think drinking is going to give it to you? Open your eyes. You think anger is going to give it to you? Getting mad when you can't handle something? Getting violent? That doesn't give it to you, right? No, I did 30 years of prison work. I know very well where that ends up. People end up locked up because they can't handle themselves. So stay with the outside. We'll go to the inside in a minute. So the question becomes, once you decide for yourself, just like who decided your diet? You did. I know all kinds of people told you what to eat, and they read books and the TV and your parents, but ultimately you decided your diet. You're the one who sneaks out and puts some chocolate or sugar or whatever the heck it is. You decide the level of your diet. And I'm telling you, until you decide, that's what it's going to be. Because you are the person that has to assert the will in order to change the behavior pattern that exists. Nobody can do it for you. Don't let them lie to you about patches and pills and hypnosis. It can do it, right? It will never last. Why? Because you need the will inside developed strong enough to change the direction of your energy flows. It may well stay in the one thing that you worked on. It'll pop up in 6 other things. Because if you have not developed the power and will and strength and fortitude inside yourself to stand up against this uncomfort of the habit pattern, it will just move from smoking to chewing gum. Have you noticed that? So what life is about is you developing your strength, your true core strength. Not what they call your core strength, all right? Your true core strength that says, I am in here. Check. All right? Hi, you in there? Hi, everybody in there? I am in here. This is my life. It's not my parents' life. It's not my wife's life. It's not my kid's life. It's my life. I was given this time by the universe between my birth and my death to be conscious and to experience and interact with the moments that are unfolding in front of me. That's what my life is. It will always be that, won't it? Okay? If I eat Twinkies and drink Cokes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it may give me a nice sugar rush for 5 minutes, but I'm tired, my muscles hurt, I crash, I don't have the strength. Sugar does that to you, all right? If you said, I'm trying to get an extreme diet that none of you have Twinkies for breakfast, lunch, and dinner plus Coke, do you? All right? If you do something with your diet, and we all can have our own diets, and I'm not telling you what to eat, but there are things that make you sick, and you know it. If you do those things, do you know what's going to happen? You're going to be sick. And sick doesn't make for a nice life, does it? You can't have fun when you're sick. You can't enjoy the different things that are happening to you. You want to go out? So-and-so says he likes you. Wow, you've always been attractive. No, I don't feel well. I don't want to go out. See that? It's not even fun. All right? So you wake up and you realize, this is my life. I am in here. I have control over these things. I don't have control over everything, but I sure as heck have control over what I eat, and control over whether I smoke, and control over how much or whether I drink, and control over whether I do drugs, and control over et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? I have ultimate control over me because I'm the one who's doing it. If I have not exercised that control, if I have not woken up enough to say, hey, wait a minute, this is my kingdom in here. I'm the boss, period. You don't get to say it to anybody else, but don't say it to anybody else. They won't like it. But inside of you, you're the boss. There's nobody else in there. So if you have allowed habits to form so that the energy flows that way, and we all have, it happens naturally, right? We're very habitual creatures. If you've allowed these habits to form, and then you notice, because you're becoming a conscious being, that they are not healthy, that this particular thing's not healthy to a greater or lesser extent. It's not a healthy thing to do. It seemed okay at the moment, but it doesn't seem so okay now. Good. Now you're ripe. Like I said, nobody's telling you. You decided for yourself. This is not helping me with my aspirations, my joys, my directions in life. Okay, then don't do it. Then change it. I'm not even talking about doing things. Now I'm talking about not doing things. I'm talking about things that are destructive, that are damaging to you, all right? They're taking away your happiness, etc. If you're the one who's doing it, I don't understand how you can tell me you can't not do it. I don't. Am I making sense to you? I'd be happier if he would behave a certain way and not wear what he wears and move. Okay, you may not get that one because it's got something to do with him, right? But if I would be happier if I stopped smoking, I'd be happier if I stopped drinking, I'd be happier if I got this, whatever it is. I'm the only one I'm up against, all right? So you start at home. That's what it means. Growth starts at home. Spirituality starts at home. It starts with you. So you look and you see, yes, I have decided these things. No one told me. I decided. Now I'm going to do them. And you're going to see that sometimes you can't. And that's where I want you. That's where I want you. That's the place where your growth is. That's where the rubber hits the road. When you have decided this is destructive, I don't want to do it anymore. I've decided not to do it anymore. And a moment comes, and the next thing you know, you're doing it. That moment is worth 100 hours of meditation. There is no higher moment in your life than that moment where you decided something and now you have not been able to do it. Because if you can't do it with yourself, you don't stand a chance with anything else. You don't stand a chance when your boss criticizes you of getting over it and still putting your heart into your work because you can't even handle yourself. Forget him. All right? So you decide that my starting position is I am going to learn. It's not like you just say, I'm not that kind of person that has that kind of control. That's ridiculous. You didn't know calculus when you first took the course. You didn't know how to play tennis when you first picked up a racket. You didn't know how to do anything, right? You didn't know how to play the piano or any instrument when you first took it. You learned. So don't take the attitude, oh, Mickey, you don't understand. I've never had strong will. I'm not good at that. Well, what's the alternative? There is no alternative. Is there? There is no alternative. Okay? I have this habit. Every time I get into the car, I drive it at 80 miles an hour into a wall. All right? I've tried to stop it, but I just can't. What's the alternative? There's no alternative. You gotta not do it, man. It's just not a good thing to do, right? And you can't do this. You need to stop doing this. There's no way around the fact that if you are not in control of yourself, if you can't deal with yourself when you've decided how it should be, I'm telling you, that's the foundation. That's ground zero. You got to get that one together. All right. So what happens if I find that I don't have that kind of strength for things? All right. Then you develop it. You develop it. Just like you learn to play the piano. I'm telling you, exactly like you learn to play the piano. Do you learn to play the piano by taking Beethoven's, Moonlight Sonata and sit down and put it up there full edition and say, oh, shoot, I can't do it? No. You learn to play the piano by starting with scales, don't you? Well, what good is that? That's not Beethoven. Believe me, it's good, isn't it? Play the scales. Just play the scales, all right? Because if you can't do the scales, you ain't doing Beethoven. If you can do the scales, you're closer. Learn to read music. 3 blind mice, 3 blind mice. See, all right? I know it doesn't sound like Beethoven, but I'm telling you, with the scales and with the reading, you're getting closer, aren't you? It is exactly the same with yourself. All right? You happen to be the highest species on the planet. Doesn't look like it, but you are. All right? And your mind is brilliant. Look how excited you get if a monkey can do something you trained it to do, right? Look how bright you are. Forget calculus, you learned algebra, you learned math, you learned whatever it is you went to. You have learned so many things. You can drive a car. It's unbelievable. All those things going on at once. You're there, you're conscious. You are a brilliant being. You have great power. So basically, you learn how to work with yourself. So you start with little things. You just start with, if you want to do, you start with little things. You sit there and say, okay, I'm eating something. Let's say eating. Don't start with the thing you have trouble with. Nope. That's crazy. That's like starting with Beethoven. All right? Let's say you're having trouble with smoking or drinking, but you eat fairly normal, all right? But you like dessert. Okay? I'm not telling you not to eat dessert, all right? That's your business, but that's what I'm going to tell you. You're not going to like this, by the way. Here it goes. You're sitting there eating your dessert, and you're right there, and you save the most sumptuous fast for last, right? You know what I'm going to say? Leave it on your plate. What? Leave it on your plate. Why would I leave it on my plate? So you gain the ability to do so. That's why. For the one moment of joy of the final stupid bite, come on, you just had 15 bites. For the one moment of joy, for the final stupid bite, I can change your life. You learn to begin to apply your energy, your will, your center of consciousness against your habits. All right? To redirect a habit. I don't want to say against. Just like when I dig a new trench for the water to go down, I'm not against the old trench. Right? I'm not fighting with the old trench. Never fight. Always be constructive. Right? Just, I want to carve another path. And I need the strength to do so. The strength that you gained by leaving that on your plate is the strength that we'll use to stop smoking someday. Is the strength you will use to stay with your job after somebody criticized you and you're getting all weird about it. It's all the question of, are you in there? Yes. Are you centered? Well, not always, but sometimes. Here I am, all right? And now there are these habits that just run your life. Good, fine. But are they constructive? I don't mind autopilot if it takes me where I want to go. All right, that's great. Train her, right? So that she's always taking you where you want to go. Okay, but you don't want to put on autopilot if it takes you into the mountain. What kind of thing is that? So habits are part of your life. There are going to be patterns of energy that you rely on, right? Make them reliable. They're very powerful things. They determine your entire life. Do you understand that? Because 99% of the time you run on habit. You drive from here into town on habit. You don't do a thing. You don't even know where you're going. You're busy thinking. You're off somewhere else, right? You stop at the red lights. You sometimes stop at the stop signs, all right? And you do everything. You steer. You do everything. It's just completely, you don't even think about it. Completely out of habit, all right? So you want to develop good habits. You want to develop habits that will take you where you want to go. They are your choice. We'll get into where your old habits come from, but now you're getting a clue. So by leaving that last little thing on the plate for no reason, other than it's the scales. It's practicing. All right? At first, it will be very difficult to do. Good. If you come to me and say, well, I tried doing it, I couldn't. Now, come on, look at me. Look at me. You really going to say that to me? I tried doing it, I couldn't? You couldn't leave the little piece on your plate? What do you mean? I don't understand. What was stopping you? You didn't want to enough to overcome the discomfort. I told you, if it is flowing a certain way, it is going to require energy to have it flow another way. You have to want to put out that energy bad enough to put up with the discomfort of doing it. Does that make sense to you? And I'm painting a picture of something you should all know about by now, right? It's called, hello, this is your house. You live in there. It belongs to you. If you don't have the ability to drive the car in there, you're going to be driving into walls, if you haven't noticed. You're going to be crashing and burning pretty often, all right? If you have the ability to drive, you'll do reasonably well or perfectly well. So you leave it, and if you find you don't leave it, you sit down with yourself, and you have a little talk with yourself as to what is the benefit of that last piece eating it, and what is the benefit of overcoming the drive to eat it, overcoming the discomfort of not eating it. And all of a sudden, it's like working out, right? When you work out, you start with little things, and you get stronger. It's worth it. It's no pain, no gain. And so you just start doing little things. I won't tell you all the things I used to do back in the 70s. I looked at this, and I said, no, I'm not going to continue my life until I am the one in charge of my life. All right? I moved out. You don't have to do it, but I moved out to the middle of the woods, dropped everything, said, until I get this together, nope. He's a crazy little boy. But that resulted, he would do little things. Now, don't do these things. I'm telling you not to do these things. All right? He'd do little things, like when he got in the shower, he'd get the temperature the way he likes it, right? And before he left, he'd make it colder and stand there. Not totally cold. He'd just make it colder than he likes it. And just stand there for a few minutes. Why? I told you why. Because I'm the boss. You just develop your right to do what you want. Yeah, everybody wants to do what they want, right? You're not doing what you want. You're doing what the habits make you do. If somebody says, I have the right to drink if I want, you sure do. But do you have the right to not drink if you want? The day you have the right to not drink if you want, I will agree you have the right to drink if you want. But I'm telling you right now, 98% of the people who drink do not have the ability to not drink. No, so I'm talking about alcoholics. I'm talking about wine drinkers and people who just get the edge off. Just try and not. And you're going to see a major problem. Do you understand that? Right? It's like, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you to tell you what to do. All right? And not just give in to these habits that are not necessarily taking you where you want to go. If they're taking you where you want to go, fine. That's wonderful. But you better test them. Better test your ability once in a while to see what's going on. So a wise person catches on to this and develops a center of will, a center of strength, a center of power, a core strength that says the following. If I decide, Yukteswar was Yogananda's guru. This is how he used to put it. If I decide that this is going to happen with me, sooner the sun and the moon shall change places in the sky than it won't happen. He was a being, as a master though. That was a being of will. Okay, it was like, but I'm telling you, that's what it should be like inside of you. Not with somebody else, but with you. If you decide consciously, I'm aware this is what I'm going to do, and I decide I'm going to do this, then that's what's going to happen. Can I change what I decided? If you change from a center of absolute clarity, you get some more clarity and you steer a little bit, of course. But if you change because you weren't able to do it, I didn't want to do it anyways. I was just kidding myself. Don't play game. This is your life. I'm not telling you what to do. Do you notice that? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you how to do it. There's a difference, right? You decide what you want to do. I'm telling you how to do it, how to succeed in what you're doing. So basically, you stop babying yourself. For one thing, under no conditions ever should you ever say to yourself, I can't, period. If you want to and you want to be somewhat weak, you can say, I'm not able to yet. But don't you ever say, I can't, because it's not true. I used to tell a story. It went heavy. We'll get a little lighter, right? When I was doing the prison work, I went into maximum security prison. I used to go to UCI out there. They're all in for life, the whole ball game. And I had a discussion. It wasn't this intense, but I had a discussion with my guys. And I mentioned that they have will, and whatever they want, they can do. You can decide. Similar type discussion. And again, things like, Mickey, this is not the highest population sample of people with great will. You're in a maximum security prison. It's like, we're not the sample population, all right? So they were having fun. And I said, all right, so you don't think, and the example I gave them, excuse me, I go off color here for a moment. The example I gave them was, okay, and by the way, I was in a chapel, okay? And I said, all right, so quiet down. They're giggling, quiet down. Let's say that whatever you consider the most beautiful woman in your whole life walked in here, walked in that door, took her clothes off, walked across the front of the room, walked out that door and put her clothes back on. You want to hear giggling, all right? And these guys have been in for life, all right? All this giggling is going on. And when they stopped giggling, I said, could you not look? And the giggling stopped for a minute, all right? Because I was being serious. Could you not look? And basically, every single one of those men said to me, I know you want me to say yes, that's the point you're making, but if I'm going to be honest with you, I've been in here for 30 years, I know I would peak, Mickey. I know you don't want me to say it, I know I would peak. So I said, you're telling me you couldn't do it? And they all said, no, honestly, I can't do it, I couldn't do it. To which point, I said, all right, very good, take a breath. Here is $1 million plus a pardon from the governor, plus the keys to your own Ferrari that's at the front gate, plus your house in Maui, and could you not look? Oh, there was a rather drastic change with every single person in that room. Every single person. I ain't looking. I guarantee you I would not look. I don't understand. Either you can or you cannot not look. Or you don't get to have it both ways. What does that teach you? It says, it's not that you couldn't not look, it's that you didn't want to enough. The minute I put enough reward for not looking on the table, you ain't looking, are you? The same is the true with you. You have complete dominion, complete power over yourself. It's you, for God's sakes, all right? You were given willpower. You were given a center of strength, of power. You have complete control over yourself, complete, utter. The person who has the least control over themselves has complete control of themselves. That is what is true. You who's in there, the consciousness, is where the power of will comes from. And you have the ability to assert it anytime you want, anywhere you want, within yourself. So the question isn't whether you can, because you can. It's whether you want to enough to withstand the habit, the habitual flow of the force that's pulling in another way. Now, does everybody see that? So that's why I say you have to decide. It's a decision that you make, not that somebody else told you, you'll get in trouble, something like that. You decided, for the quality of my life, this is how I want to live. This is what I want to do. So then more than the pardon or the $1 million or the car, we're talking about happiness itself. We're talking about the quality of your life. How can that not be worth it? If you are in a relationship and drinking is ruining your relationship and it's ruining your job and you see it's ruining your health, and at a moment of clarity, you sit there and say, I don't want to do this anymore. There is no reason in the world that you would ever have to do it again. Go talk to AA, go talk to anybody, right? Especially if you're off it for a while, you've kind of broke the habit a lot. Why would you do that again? It's just a moment of weakness. It's just a moment of not asserting this tremendous, beautiful power you've been given, which is self-control, right? The power of your will, that this is yours. This is your house. Isn't it your house? It's your house. It's your dominion. You do what you want. So that's what it means to work with will externally. Now, believe it or not, that's child's play compared to working with it internally. All right? So you best be exercising. Now, what does it mean to work with it internally? It means that more destructive, literally more destructive than smoking, more destructive than drinking, all right, is what is going on inside of you, is your mental patterns and your emotional patterns. In fact, the reason you drink is because of your mental and emotional patterns. If your mind all of a sudden became nice and your emotions became really nice, and they started saying how wonderful you are and how happy you are with your job and how happy you are with your life, you wouldn't smoke or drink. You're not nervous. You're not anxious. You don't have any problems. Why would you? Drinking is about changing your state. It is not about a nice thing. It is about negating a not nice thing. If you feel better when you drink, it is because you didn't feel well before you drank. Which one of you is going to have what Maslow called a peak experience moment? You're holding your baby for the first time. Someone you love just came back from years overseas in the army and made it back, and they're at your front door. Which one of you wished you were drunk out of your mind before you went into that moment? Nobody. Nobody. They want to be there. They want to experience it. They want to take it in. You understand that? You can't do that when you're not sharp, when you're not there. The reason you drink, the reason you do drugs, the reason you smoke, the reason you do all these things is because you're not okay inside. If you are okay inside, there's no issue. There's nothing. It's fine. But you're not okay inside. What does that mean to not be okay inside? It means my mind is bothering me. There. I said it. All right? Your mind is bothering you. It is worrying. It is anxious. It is telling you everything you're doing wrong. It is telling you you're no good. It's telling you your nose is too big or too small. It's telling you you look funny. It's telling you people don't like you. It's telling you you said something stupid. Oh my God, that was so stupid. How could you have said that? Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. It's telling you stuff like that. If you go to do something, it's telling you, oh my God, you're going to screw it up. And you know you're going to screw it up. Oh my God, this is going to be terrible. It is not being nice to you. If you pay attention, you will see it is saying things to you that if somebody else said them, you would do anything from hitting them to never seeing them again, depending on your temperament. But you would never befriend the person that would talk to you like that. I did that in the whole first chapters of The Untethered Soul, right? Wake people up to sit there and say, will you please pay attention to how someone inside of you is talking to you? It's not nice, is it? And so you wake up and you realize that is a habit. How your mind talks to you is a habit exactly the same as these external habits that I just talked to you about. It is a pattern. There's no reason your mind is doing that. None. Zero. It's just a habit. So you have habitual thought patterns, and they keep talking to you that way. And you try to break out of them. They talk like this. Nobody could really love me. I don't blame them. I wouldn't love me either. I was just ridiculous. And if anybody knew how messed up I was, they wouldn't do it. Then somebody says, I love you. What? I love you a lot. No, you don't. No, I do. I know. I really do. How do you know? Because every time I'm in your presence, like my whole body feels like it's melting and my heart melts and I can't think of anything but you. And all of a sudden, it's a little bit stronger than your inner junk. And you say, geez, really? Really? Right? And all of a sudden somebody's listening. It starts to form maybe a little bit of a different habit until all of a sudden he or she leaves for an hour or two and your mind starts going, God, careful, don't fall into that junk. So what does he want from you? What does he want from you? He knows you have money. That's what it is, right? Well, you don't have money. Yeah, but he thinks you do. Hello? And it goes right back, doesn't it? You've had patterns inside of you, some of them since your childhood. You've been through situations in your life that were difficult, every one of you. And during those difficult situations, there was a lot of complaining going on in there, wasn't there? Right? A lot of negative stuff. A lot of stuff became a habit. All of a sudden, you're not in the negative situation anymore, but you really are, because it keeps carrying on inside. Your thought patterns are habits. They are not you thinking in there. It is not you who is deciding what thoughts are going to go on in there. You are not choosing your thoughts. They are habitual. The patterns just they're so habitual that you may not even know it. Like the fish doesn't know he's in water. There's just water everywhere. You don't realize how many people I've taught about that voice in their head that to start with, they didn't know what I was talking about. I love that. And somebody reads the whole book and their voice in there saying, I don't even understand what he's talking about. This is ridiculous, right? So he keeps talking about the voice in the head. I don't have a voice in my stupid head. But net result is, right, if you don't see it, you don't see it because you're in it. It is the same thing with your regular thought patterns. Well, what am I going to do? I don't know what career I want to be in. It's ridiculous. I've always had trouble with that. You already went through medical school and became a doctor, right? What is this still going on inside your head? It just is a problem. It's a problem. And so you wake up and you realize, I have habitual thoughts. That's all I want. I took you through the whole thing of your external life. You want to work with it? I encourage you to. I would like to see you reach a point where you can look me in the eyes and said, if I say it's going to happen, it's going to happen with me. It's that simple. I've developed the will. I've developed the center. I've developed my core strength to where no matter how strong the opposition is, the habitual opposition, right, I have learned to work with it and raise it, and there's no competition anymore. If I decide this was going to go on inside with me, my life, this was going on. I guarantee you have the ability to do that. And by the way, I left something off before I go inside. I should tell you this. The power that your habitual patterns have, they do have power, don't they? When you beat them, and I don't mean beat them by fighting, you work with them, but when you beat them, that power goes to you. Literally. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's transmuted. It's rechanneled. Okay? The water that flowed down one ditch now flows down another one. Same water. It got redirected. Imagine how much power is wasted inside of you with all those habits. I haven't got the thoughts yet, just your physical habits, your ways of doing things, right? When you develop your center strong enough, I'm telling you, you become a being of power. It radiates. You feel it. Like people say when they work with their core physically, they feel the strength inside, right? Wait till you feel real strength inside. Because all that energy that used to go there now is yours. You gained it. It transmuted. It's called transmuted. It got risen up to you. Because whoever wins, wins. And so when you pull the energies up and they're in the center, they don't go flying around to these habitual things. Now, you work inside. You come inside. And you realize, I got a problem. My thoughts are a problem. If you don't know that yet, take my word for it. Right? Your thoughts are a problem. I don't even know you. All right, your thoughts are a problem, a serious problem, way worse than your drinking or smoking. I told you, they are the reason you are drinking and smoking, because you can't handle yourself. That's where all the tension comes from, the anxiety comes from, where the fear comes from, where the worry comes from. They are just habitual patterns inside your mind that are stealing your life. They're stealing the joy of your life. You can't go out and do something without it bothering you, worrying about it. You go plan your wedding, and then you're afraid it's going to rain. What if it rains on your wedding? And by the way, your wedding's not even outside. It's inside, all right? I usually tell you if it's outside, okay. But if it's inside, what if it rains that people want to come? Oh, my God, and they'll get their shoes wet. And then, oh, you pick those special shoes for the bridesmaids. What are you doing? I'll tell you what you're doing. You're ruining your wedding. The rain's not ruining your wedding. It's not even here yet. It's 3 months before your wedding. And you're ruining your wedding. You're ruining the experience of your life. You can't enjoy anything if you're doing that to yourself, because that's the environment you live in. And so you live inside these habitual thought patterns that are going on all the time, and they are negative. And so you're living inside a negativity, and you're wondering why you're not happy. And then you're doing the silliest thing in the whole world, which is going outside to find a job or a person who will make it so you feel better about yourself. That's hilarious. You're in there doing it to yourself, and somebody outside of you is going to fix what you did to yourself? I really don't like myself. I never have. And, I hope you can make me feel better about that. Right? Why don't you fix the problem at the root? You cannot carry these negative thoughts and these bad things going on inside your head habitually and expect to have a nice life. Can you? You've been around? You can't. I am telling you, just as I told you, if you want to stop smoking, stop putting cigarettes in your mouth. And just withstand the difficulty of not doing that, because those energies will transmute. Now, the power that smoking had over you, now the power you have over everything inside yourself. That's what's neat about building your will. It's not just about smoking. It's about eating. It's about everything once you build it. Right? Well, it's the same thing inside. You are capable. Get this down. I'm telling you, every one of you, I don't care what your mind's like. I don't care how habitual it is. You are capable of straightening that out. You are capable of redirecting those energies, just like you can physically, of redirecting those energies to where your mind is a pleasant place to live. I don't teach you to stop your mind. I don't teach you to shut up your mind. I want you to have a nice life. I like you. Right? You should be happy. This is a fun life. It's an interesting place, the planet Earth. You're sitting on a planet, spinning in the middle of nowheres, making yourself crazy. For absolutely no reason. Stop it. It's just like stop smoking. All right, so now you have these patterns. How do you redirect the patterns? Exactly the same as you redirected them outside. If all of a sudden you're sitting there going to work and you've noticed that 3 months ago when you first got your job, you were excited to go to work. Now you failed at a couple of things. Somebody criticized you. Then I didn't give you the raise you wanted, but somebody else got the raise. All of a sudden, we're not having so much fun going to work, are we? I'll bet you I know why. Because when you drove to work before, your mind was saying to you, oh boy, I wonder what I'll get to do today. This is neat. That was so exciting what I did yesterday. I never did anything like that before, right? It was fun too, and I liked the person who was working with me, all right? That's great, right? That's what it was saying. That was fun. Now it says, I don't want to do the new thing they give me. I failed the last one. There was too much criticism. I couldn't do it. That person I'm working with, that they got that raise instead of me? Oh my God, you saw what they did? That's what your mind's saying to you. And you're wondering why you don't enjoy your job. It has nothing to do with the job. It has to do with what you're doing inside yourself. So it is just like the eating and just like the smoking and just like the drinking is exactly the same. Are you willing to change those patterns? First, do you understand you're capable of changing those patterns? Period. Every one of you are capable of changing. I'm not talking about meditating. I'm not talking about anything like that. Your will is the strongest power inside of you. Your center of will, your volition, is stronger than your mind, is stronger than your emotions, is stronger than your physical urges. Your will is stronger than everything. Your center of will comes directly from the core of your being. It's unbelievable. Your power is phenomenal inside. All right, so that's a starting position. Now what is going on in there is not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. It's a habit. They're habitual flows. You didn't do anything wrong, you just didn't do anything right. When things happened to you that disturbed you, you suppressed them. You kept them inside. So now they're causing all your thought patterns to be screwed up. Psychology is absolutely right how it got like that in there. Freud was right. They're right. If you had bad things happen to you and you couldn't handle them, so you stored them inside of you, they're going to keep coming back up in your mind and bothering you. And by the time you store a whole bunch of them, like about 100,000 over the course of your life, the tiniest little things, every little thing, it all keeps coming back up in your mind. And there's all these negative thoughts. There's all these fears, all these anxieties, because you're afraid it's going to happen again. You took all this stuff that was problematic, you shoved it inside your mind by suppressing it, holding it in there, and now it keeps the aroma keeps coming up, and that's what you hear as your habitual thoughts. And that's the truth. That's how long it takes me to explain why your thoughts are the way they are. Of course, his are different than yours. He had different experiences, different bad experiences. You even do it with your good experiences. You met somebody when you were 12. You had a neat relationship, and they moved before you even had a single fight. So that impression left inside of you is the most positive thing that ever happened to you. Guess what you do with it now? It keeps coming back up, and you keep looking for it again. Instead of experiencing the reality of the person who's in front of you, you look for traits of that person. You're literally trying to recreate what felt good before. You're trying to avoid what felt bad before. In other words, your past experiences are determining your thought patterns. And both are making you miserable. They're called samskaras, positive and negative samskaras. Even your positive samskaras are ruining your life because they are not letting you experience life as it is. Go to Hawaii and have a great time. Then decide to take a few friends with you because you've told them how great it is. You showed them all the pictures. Don't do it. Because you will be disappointed. Because you will have a preconceived notion of where the whales will be and what it will be like to swim in the thing, but it's raining and they're closed and whatever the heck it is. And next thing you know, this was a positive experience because you tried to recreate it in your mind outside. It ends up disappointing you. Anybody have an experience like that? Ever notice? All right. So both the positive and the negative things that have happened to you, you have stored them inside your mind. You stored them down inside. Now they come back up constantly and formulate these patterns that make up your self-concept and your habitual thought patterns. And they are not nice. It's not pleasant. So what do you do about it? Either you do what they tell you to do, go away, I'm not comfortable here, and you leave, right? Oh, he's cute. See if you can get him attracted to you. But he's married. I don't care. Come on, be honest. That's a nut in there, isn't it? All right, that's something else to be carrying around in there. Yes or no, right? So net result is you're not going to have a nice life. And that's why you drink and smoke and do drugs and run around like a maniac, to do anything you can to distract yourself from yourself. That's what everybody's basically doing, trying to create big experiences that distract them from themselves. New experiences, exciting experiences, so I can distract myself. I am telling you, when you get yourself together, and I'm happy to tell you how to do it, and you're perfectly capable of doing it, you are the highest experiences you will ever have. The highest experience you've ever had will be going on inside of you all the time. Because that's who you are. You're the highest being able to walk the face of the earth. The trouble is you screwed it up with all these habitual habit things. And so now you're not in control of yourself. You're not even experiencing yourself. You're experiencing the leftover garbage. That's why there has to be this thing called self-realization. What do you mean self-realization? You are who you are. Yeah, the trouble is you don't know it. You're busy being your thought patterns. You're busy being your emotional problems. You don't know who you are, who's living in there. Well, the you who lives in there, the center of volition, the center of clarity, of consciousness, is of God, literally. Literally. When the Bible says man was created in the image of God, someday you're going to know exactly what that talks about. You're going to realize that, as Christ said, the kingdom is within you, way back within you. All right? Is within you. High in there. You. High. That's spirituality. And when you come back and break these habit patterns and pull the energy away, I said when you break the habits physically, you become stronger. Right? Wait till you see what happens mentally and emotionally. When you transmute, it's called transmutation of energy. It's the essence of yoga. When you transmute those negative energies, those patterns, and the energy that is, how much energy is inside of you? Worrying, anxious, right? That's a lot of energy, right? Then you have to try and have enough energy to get above it so you don't get sunk into it, right? Imagine if none of that was happening. Wow, let's play imagine, all right? Imagine if that wasn't happening and all that energy went up into you instead of going down and messed up and circling around and arguing with itself and being confused and abused, right? It just all goes up. And I'm telling you, that's what the Shakti is. Wave upon wave of ecstasy. Just feeds you day and night. All your chakras open. This heart's filled with love, overwhelming love. That's what goes on inside of you when you get rid of this garbage that's going on in there. You're a very high being. Right? So how do you work with the habit patterns of the mind? Exactly the same as you worked with the other habit patterns. That's why it's good to start with the scales with your physical self at whatever level you're comfortable. But at least every day do a little bit to break some habits, play around till it becomes a game with you. Just a game, all right? Master Yogananda literally said every day break a habit and make a new one. I used to sit there and say, why do you want to make a new one? Because they're going to be habits. It's just natural. Anything you do, if you do it once, it becomes a habit. Have you noticed that? You just come home and have an ice cream. See what happens the next day. You want an ice cream. It's a natural thing. We are beings of habit, right? I'm not telling you to not be a being of habit. I'm telling you to be the center of your core that decides what your habits are going to be and the ability to break them or make them at will. Nah, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore. That's it. It's not being done anymore. Say, I'll try this. Then try that. Hey, wouldn't it be neat to have your life be your own? Now you start working with your thoughts. How do you do that? You pick things, telling you, don't start with the big stuff. Don't. Start with what I call the low-hanging fruit. I am sitting there driving behind somebody, and they are driving at a speed that I'm not comfortable with. Either too slow or too fast, generally too slow. And I can't pass them, and I'm watching everything, getting anxious about it. Cool it. Pay attention. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Of what benefit is doing that? You like the anxiety? You like the nuts? The discomfort? Because you're doing it. You want to, you can be comfortable driving until there's time to pass. You have fun. You do not have to do that inside yourself, do you? No more than you have to smoke, no more than you have to drink. You do not have to do that inside of yourself. Don't sit there and say, oh, I've always been that way. So, it is your life. And that is not a nice life to do that. And I'm telling you it matters. A lot. If you let that go on, then you're going to let somebody say they're going to call. I'll call you at 10. It's 5 after 10. You have just created hell for yourself in those 5 minutes. Where are they? What happened? Why they don't like me anymore? Maybe they had an accident. Here's one from the other. Oh, maybe they're hurt. Maybe they don't like me anymore. Oh my God! For 5 or 10 minutes till the person calls. Your mind's driving you crazy. Answer me. What benefit was that? Who did that do any good to? None. I'm telling you, it doesn't have to happen. That's your house. That's a meaningless, destructive pattern, isn't it? There are meaningless, destructive patterns that are going on inside of you. You go on a date with somebody, all right? You have a good time. Good. Wasn't that nice? Hope you enjoyed it. Well, will they call again? Should I ask her? I don't know. Maybe she didn't like me. I liked her. Oh my God. Now you're going to ruin your date all by yourself. Just sit there and drive yourself crazy. No one's ever done that, right? I am telling you, this is where your work is. This is what determines the quality of your life. You can't have a nice life if you are doing that to yourself. If you are cutting your arms with razor blades every 5 minutes, you can't have a nice life. You can't be healthy. You can't enjoy yourself. Do you understand that? No matter what else happens, you can't do it. That's what you're doing inside. You're causing trouble for yourself. You're creating anxiety, insecurity, jealousy, fears, angers, all kinds of things you're developing inside your mind because you're just not paying attention. So you start with the low-hanging fruit. What do I mean by low-hanging fruit? You do a cost-benefit analysis. Nice, clear business stuff. Cost-benefit analysis. What is the benefit of these thoughts? What is the cost of these thoughts? And I'm telling you that there is enough of them that I make a category called low-hanging fruits that the cost is 100% and the benefit is 0. That's what getting yourself upset about how fast somebody's driving in front of you when you can't pass them. 100% cost, no benefit. That's what getting yourself all tied up in knots about a phone call that comes 5-10 minutes late. 100% cost, no benefit. So there are lots of those things that you're letting happen, that all they are is destructive. Work with them. And that, now we're into spirituality. Now we're into yoga. Now we're into what we call inner work, mindfulness. All right? Work with them. If I'm driving behind somebody and my mind is driving me crazy about it, I'm going to do something about it. About how they're driving? No, about what my mind is doing. There are so many things you can do. I'm not going to get into it. I don't get into techniques. Right? Your business. Here's one thing. Watch your breath instead. What do you mean? While you are there causing yourself angst and craziness and so on, your breath just going in and out, watch it instead of watching your mind. Don't fight with your mind. Never fight with your mind. Okay? Just watch your breath. That you're taking your awareness of being, your consciousness, your willful awareness, and you're aiming it at something other than your mind. You will notice miraculously that the mind quiets down. Why? If you're stirring water, it gets all agitated, doesn't it? You know what happens when you stop stirring it? It's a miracle. It quiets down. It's unbelievable. It's the same thing with your mind. If you're in there thrashing around, what am I going to do about this lady? She's driving so slow. You're in there thrashing around, making your mind be neurotic. Instead, you watch your breath. Your mind will quiet down every single time. Same thing with the phone call. You can watch your breath. You can do a mantra. You can do what I do. I teach the highest technique to you. I got a letter today. I actually wrote it instead of sending an email. And this lady just said she read The Untethered Soul, and she started actually practicing what it said, of relaxing her shoulders and her tummy and her just relaxing around her heart every single time the mind started getting neurotic. And she just said, I have no words. My entire life changed. Entire life changed. It's like I have a whole new life now and all kinds of stuff's going on inside of me, blah, 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 blah. Right? That's what I teach you. Want a technique? Mickey doesn't teach techniques. Right? Here's Mickey's technique. When it starts making noise and you notice that the benefit is 0 and the cost is 100%, relax. What do you mean relax? Relax. Relax your shoulders. Relax your tummy. Relax around your heart. Just keep relaxing. Relaxing. And if you feel that it keeps going while you're relaxing, you'll notice that it's not in you. You're the one who's relaxing. It's happening outside of you. It's happening somewhere over there. You understand that? The anxiety, the noise. Lean away from it. Just relax and lean away from where it's coming from. That will change your entire life. Period. That is the act of will that it takes to free yourself. If you do not involve yourself in it, its energy will transmute to you. If you can remain calm, centered, clear, willful, I don't want to give in to this, I don't need this, I'm just going to relax behind it, it will keep pulling at you, and eventually it will stop. You will win. You won. Right? And the energies will come up to you. It will stop doing what it used to do. You'll get into the habit of enjoying the fact that someone's driving slower, so now you can watch your breath. All right? You will sit there and make it a video game. I used to make a rule for myself. If somebody doesn't call for 5 or 10 minutes, come on, man, it could be anything. I'm not going to think about what it could be, because it could be anything. After 10 minutes, if he thinks he needs to, or whatever number you want to use, 15 minutes, and maybe he needs to call or check or do something, right? But during those 15 minutes, we're going to play whack-a-mole, right? He's not saying... This is my time. This 15 minutes is mine, and you don't get to take it away. I am going to relax and release, watch the breath, do whatever I need to do. You understand that? It's just fun. I want it to be a game. It's a game. This is my kingdom. I get to decide. It doesn't just ruin itself on its own for no reason. Okay? If you will work with these low-hanging fruits, just as you develop your power, your center, by working with yourself physiologically, with your physical being, all right, your interaction with the world, that power gave you the ability to do this. When you do this, you will find that the energies are becoming phenomenal inside. And when you're able to work with your mind, you're going to find out you have a heart. You always knew you had one, but only when it misbehaved. When it went too open or too closed. Oh, my heart's bothering me. Your heart's always bothering you. All right? And you'll relax behind your mind, and you will start noticing there's a lot of vibrations coming out of your heart. They're very reactive, very sensitive. Well, what do I do about that? Because they're not always healthy. Right? They're scared. They get scared a lot, don't they? Does the heart get scared a lot? It gets scared constantly about nothing. Right? I mean, nothing. It just gets... In fact, eventually you'll find out it's always scared. It's just scared. All right? It got scared. All right? Like a little scared animal. That's because all these different things happened that you couldn't handle, and you shoved them down there, and you suppressed it all, and now what's down there is fear. And so you feel a lot of fear. Well, what do I do? Once you've worked with the outside, it's not 100%, they all work together, but once you start to develop your will outside and you start working, please work. I just always tell you, it's a low-hanging fruit. My God, if it's 100% cost and 0% benefit, I shouldn't have to sell it to you. Just relax through it, then you're going to notice your heart is way more sensitive than anything you were ever aware of because you were caught in your mind, right? And now you're going to become aware of your heart. Do the same thing. There's nothing to do about your heart except relax and release. It's sick energy. It's broken energy. Just relax behind it. Say, okay, I understand you got a problem. I'm fine. I'm always fine. Just relax and release, and those energies will start to purify. And when all the heart energies come up to you, you will become what we call established in the seat of self. There will be nothing ever for the rest of your life that will ever pull you out of that clear center. No matter what happens to you, no matter what the mind does, no matter what another person does, no matter what anything does, you're the one that's there. You're clear. You're centered. You're capable of making decisions and carrying them through. You're a great being. You are your own being. And you've conquered, risen above this garbage that goes on down there, the humanness. All right? Then all the power comes up, and that's the beginning of your spiritual journey, not the end. All you've done now is transcend the negative. Wait till you see what happens with the positive. That's another talk. I always end my talks by saying, work on these things. This time I'll really say it. You see it, all right? Nothing can stop you but you. It has nothing to do with your husband, has nothing to do with your job, has nothing to do with your finances, does it? They're all things to experiment with and play with. If you have trouble with your finances, I want you to be strong enough to be able to have bad finances and not have trouble inside. You have trouble with your relationship, I want you to be strong enough to where you're centered and clear, and you can work with your different emotions and reactions as the relationship is going about its business. Maybe it ends, maybe it doesn't. But I want you to work with yourself in every single situation you find yourself in, so you can learn how to rise above yourself in every single situation you find yourself in. All right, work on these things. Jai Gurudev.